Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, taking a look at box number 4 in the MedicBox Pro Subscription. Now, before we dive in, there's a couple things I wanted to point out about this subscription. Number one is that MedicBox is a sequential subscription. So unlike other subscriptions where maybe you just jump in whatever month you sign up, you missed out on all the previous boxes, with MedicBox, no matter when you sign up, you're always going to start with box number 1. The following month, you'll receive the next box in the sequence. So for this one, for example, we're on box number 4, so you won't get this one until you've already received months 1, 2, and 3. And so if you are curious what came in those previous boxes, I do have a playlist with all of the previous boxes so far. I'll make sure to include this one on there as well as any future boxes. Now, next thing worth noting is that there's 2 different tiers to this subscription. Standard costs you $55 a month plus shipping, gets you all of the essentials, but you can opt for the Pro, which is $100 a month. That gets you everything in your standard, plus some additional supplementary or even upgraded items. So that's the one we're going to be taking a look at today. That said, let's dive in and see what's in box number 4. Once we get this open, I'll actually move it kind of off the screen a little bit so we have a little more room on the table for some of the items. But each month you do get a content list. The front has your standard items, the back has your Pro, as well as the optional CTOMS Academy courses that you can purchase in addition to the standard or Pro subscription that's going to teach you how and when to use the various types of gear. But I'm going to be referencing this throughout the video, so I won't read through it here. But one thing I did want to point out before we set it down is the track your MedicBox journey at the bottom. Something I haven't mentioned in this video but have in previous videos is over the course of a year, you build out 4 different first aid kits with this subscription. The first phase was boxes 1, 2, and 3 focused on a duty first aid kit. So in addition to those unboxings, I have a 4th video on the playlist summarizing everything that came in that duty first aid kit after the 3 months. So we'll do the same thing here, but you can see we're on box number 4, which is the first of 3 boxes focusing on a vehicular first aid kit. So boxes 4, 5, and 6 will all be items for a vehicular first aid kit. So definitely something to keep in mind thematically as we're looking at the individual items. But first item that we're actually going to take a look at isn't on the content list, and that's this founding member challenge coin. Blacked out coin has a MedicBox logo, tactical medical gear, founding member, which is really cool. On the back, you have that MedicBox logo again, a red cross, and tactical medical gear monthly. Now, there's no information about this on the content list, so I'm just kind of guessing here, but my guess is they probably made X amount of these. First X amount of people to sign up get this, and once they're gone, just assuming since it is a founding member coin, but really cool, and it is a new subscription, so kind of cool for them to throw an item in to commemorate that, but that's really all I have to go off of there. Now, next up, item number 1 is the vehicle pouch, and this also is item number 5. We have the PVC patch, same PVC patch we saw with the pouch we received in the duty first aid kit, so since we have a new Velcro panel to attach it to, threw in another patch to throw that on there. Now, the Velcro is also laser cut with these MOLLE attachment points, and you can see a lot of room to expand. It's kind of smushed because it was in the box, but a lot of room to expand there. One kind of cool thing, you see the strap up the front, the standard shackle, remove that, and it has this tearaway aspect, so you can mount it with these quick access strips to mount it to MOLLE webbing. It has those D-rings at the top as well to mount it. But if you need this in a hurry, you don't want to grab the pack or it's mounted to something stationary, you can tear that away with this Velcro and you can have the pouch entirely separately. So a really nice touch for, especially for a vehicular first aid pouch where you might have this mounted to the vehicle itself rather than a bag. Want a way you can quickly get that out of the vehicle. And so secured at the top with the Velcro strap as well that I already have undone here was covering these zippers, which have paracord and that tubing on there to keep them nice and silent and easy to grab onto as well. Full clamshell style opening on this, so we'll be able to get that entirely open to see the content. And so this one is a lot roomier than the duty first aid kit, leading me to believe we're either getting more items or just larger items in general for this one. And so we do have a bigger pouch to accommodate it. You can see it has that MedicBox tag. This is custom made for this subscription, so you can't buy it separately. It has this large area here in the back to store items. You have a bunch of elastic loops on top of that to store additional items. On the other side, we have this flip out mesh pocket with a zipper on it. Same style of zipper pull on that as well. For additional items, have this Velcro strap covering up 2 more of these full length pockets as well as more elastic loops. And so lots of different organization here and a good looking pouch overall. Like I said, I think this one is exclusive to here, so I wouldn't be able to buy this one separately, unfortunately, but do get it obviously to contain all of the items that we get in the vehicular first aid kit. So it says this bag's designed to contain the items you'll receive in the next 3 boxes. With this tearaway design, you can quickly grab the kit in an emergency. Inside, you'll find tons of compartments, straps, and a zippered pouch for your supplies. Front features a loop panel and that laser cut MOLLE panel for attaching even more gear. One thing worth noting that we kind of learned with the duty first aid kit is although it will contain most of the items, a lot of the items are meant to be standalone items that are maybe mounted to the exterior for quicker access. And so there may be some items that don't necessarily fit in here that you're supposed to mount next to it or nearby. And so definitely something to keep in mind as well. So getting into item number 2, we have the Oleus bandage or Oleus modular bandage. Now I'm assuming you're probably not supposed to pronounce that. I'm sure it's an acronym, so OLAES, but I have no idea what that stands for. This one's new to me, so definitely gonna have to do some research on it, but you can see made by TACMed Solutions. And luckily it does have nice step-by-step instructions here and a QR code on this side. So I'm hoping that QR code actually comes with a video so I can learn a little bit more about how to safely use this. But the Oleus modular bandage is designed with input from military first responders, offers advanced wound care with 3 meters of sterile Z-packed gauze, a removable occlusive plastic sheet, a pressure cup, and a hook and loop control strips. And so that is item number 2. Next up, we have the Beacon chest seals, and these are vented chest seals. Kind of a similar item to one that we received in the duty first aid kit, and that's kind of inevitable because there are some use cases where it makes sense in both a duty first aid kit and a vehicular first aid kit to have chest seals, but they actually sent over a different brand, maybe a different style of these, which is kind of cool, and definitely appreciate not being exact duplicates. Now this has clear instructions right on the front, instructions for use. It is a 2-pack just like the other, and then instructions in several other languages in the back. Now one thing I wanted to point out about this is because I did make a little bit of a mistake in the video that we got that in the duty first aid kit, and Exploring It All, who has his own YouTube channel here on YouTube, retired law enforcement officer, and is also doing these medic boxes, let me know. I said that I thought they were for through and through wounds where you have a clear entry and exit wound to create some suction and a seal, but that's actually not the case. He let me know he uses these all the time in his career to seal wounds that are just entry wounds. There's no exit wounds. As long as they're large enough to create that seal, they're still very useful. And so I just wanted to kind of clear up that mistake for anyone who watched that and kind of took me at my word for that that's not actually the case. So a huge shout out to Exploring It All for pointing that out to me. Now, next up is the TAC gauze, and this is a USA-made wound wrapping gauze, offers a small footprint, better packing, and higher absorbency than traditional gauze. And so this is just a 120-foot strip of 4.5-inch sterile gauze, rolled in a Z-pack and then vacuum sealed, so nice and compact. Again, another item that's a little bit redundant to our duty first aid kit, but absolutely one that should be in every first aid kit. So makes sense that we got it in here, and again, just appreciate that it's coming from a different brand, maybe a little bit different style than the one we received previously, and this is from TAC gauze. So last up for our standard box before we get into those premium items is this eye shield. I actually ended up removing it so you can see it's a polycarbonate eye shield, but since there's stickers on the both sides, you can't really see it. And this one didn't feel quite as important to keep as sterile as some of those other items. So tape over eye, nothing under the shield, this side out, and there's some venting holes there as well with a patent number, just kind of a tinted eye shield here that, again, it's going to be covered in tape anyway, so that tint's not as important, but polycarbonate eye shield meets military and civilian pre-hospital guidelines for traumatic eye injury treatment, made of shatterproof polymer. So this is a cool item for sure, and again, an item that may be very helpful in a roadside type accident. So that's our standard items, but we also got a couple additional items in the premium, starting with the APLS emergency blanket. So this is just a large emergency blanket, compact mylar lined, heat reflective, point of injury blanket. APLS emergency blanket is designed with ripstop nylon, which is unique. So it has both the mylar and the nylon. So a little bit more premium than we typically see from those emergency blankets we get in every first aid kit. And it's perfect for hypothermia management. So this is a really cool one. I wasn't familiar with this one either, but really immediately stood out that ripstop nylon. So also a little bit larger. They don't list the dimensions, but of course, being that it's mylar and ripstop, it's going to be a little bit thicker. So maybe pretty similar to most of yours, but definitely something you want in a vehicular first aid kit, because a lot of the times when you're in an accident, you're out of the car, you're exposed to the elements, and so you don't know what those conditions are like, if it's raining, if it's snowing. Definitely good to have these blankets. And so next up in the Pro subscription is the Slishman wrap. And this one's really cool because, shouting out another YouTube channel, Rich over at True Budget EDC and Prepping, he works in the medical field, and he mentioned on one of the previous boxes where we got a tourniquet that he prefers and his department trains to use the Slishman pressure wrap instead. He's actually a distributor for these, so you can purchase them from him for, I believe, $20. And so it comes in this nice soft pouch that zips shut, and then there's a couple different colors of them as well, but use them in similar scenarios that you would use a tourniquet to control and stop the bleeding. And so just a little bit, I think, beginner friendly as well is one big reason that he likes these, but also there's a few more applications than just your standard tourniquet. So really cool to see that in here. And so it says it's a highly versatile tool designed primarily for use as a pressure dressing, as we mentioned. The lightweight wrap forms a lasso that is easy to cinch and allows for application around an injured limb. Proven effective for adults, children, and pets. So that's all of our items from our Pro box. Now, in addition to that, we have our C2MS Academy information. Obviously, I can't share clips of those videos or anything like that, but they do offer a subscription to online courses that kind of supplement the gear that we're getting, so you know how and when to use the various types of gear. This month's video and online course is focused on emergency bleeding control, and this is part 2. So last month we had part 1, emergency bleeding control part 2. Course describes tourniquet principles, placement and tightening, duration and limb temperature, documentation, tourniquet training, the combat application tourniquet, CAT soft tourniquet, emergency military tourniquet, improvised tourniquets, and tourniquet release and removal. Coming up next is a little bit of a preview. We have an in-depth course on airway and respiration. We also get a preview for boxes 5 and 6. Next 2 boxes will build out your complete vehicle kit. Plus, you'll get tools to respond to fire-related emergencies. So definitely excited to check that one out. Now, lots of really great items. I think a really nice start. I like that we get the bigger kit. Since you're going to have a little bit more room in a vehicular first aid kit, you're not as worried about weight saving since you don't have to carry it on your person. Hopefully you have somewhere in your vehicle you can mount this up to, you know exactly where it's at. But really excited to see the larger kit, and I think some really, really great items in box number 4. But would love to hear your thoughts on this month's box down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. And like I said, check out that playlist if you're thinking about subscribing to this one to see exactly what comes in boxes 1 through 3 if you don't mind the spoilers and want to know if it's worth your while. But thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.